Alright, y'all, it's your boy Zxous, and we are back here with the K showcase. We're going to be showcasing K on, obviously, you know, different teams and stuff like that. She does end up turning into a shotgun character, so I think I'm going to be using her with the shotgun team. A lot of people want me to use her with volume, so we might use that as well in this video. I didn't think of volume at all. Like, volume obviously hasn't been the topic of discussion for me for a while, so I didn't think about her, but she does give a crit rate buff to all allies, and then a crit damage, crit damage buff throughout her skill too, which is great and all, but it's nothing too crazy for me to, like, I don't want to say it's nothing too crazy, but it's not like, you know what I mean? Because I feel like if you are running K with Mast and Anchor, then volume is not needed whatsoever, because you don't need, you know, I would rather put a burst 1 character that's giving me more of a damaging buff. Like, I know she stacks crit damage, we read K's kit is crit rate, so it's like, oh yeah, that's the perfect fit, but there's a lot of burst 1 characters who could buff up, you know, K a lot more than you would think with volume. But today we're going to be using the, you know, shotgun meta team, because obviously Miss K becomes a shotgun character when you use her burst skill. So I think I'm going to be using her obviously with, you know, Tove and Leona, everybody's favorite shotgun characters. And then I am going to also be putting K and Summer Niece on the same team, and then I think I'll put Privity as well. I don't necessarily need Privity, if you want me to be honest. Like, I don't need Privity whatsoever on this team, just because K helps out herself, right? Like, anytime, what is it actually, when we gain the tilted skill or whatever, that's when we're cooking. But my whole thing is, I feel like you're just better off using Privity in the sense of lowering her ammo capacity, because, like, whenever you get tilted skills, that's when K lowers her ammo capacity. We'll see. We'll use this team right here. If you don't know what Tove and Leona do, they're basically shotgun buffers. We're gonna go in with scope block, even though my Tove is built skill wise. She gives a crit rate buff permanently, and an attack speed buff as well when she's fully stacked up, right? Not only that, the thing is, she gives ammo capacity. Right, that's why I didn't want to use her initially, because she gives ammo capacity that stacks up 3 times, and the last thing I want is ammo capacity. But other than that, she should be fine, right? And this is during her emergency crafted bullet, so that's if this procs right here, which isn't the best, because I mean, it only goes to herself, luckily, but the ammo capacity goes to everybody. We'll see how this works. I don't think so. Maybe the next one we'll use is volume. I don't think I'm going to make a dedicated video for volume and K. We'll see how this looks right here, just with, you know, the shotgun meta team, and then if not, I'll put in volume with K. Everybody just wants you to put basically crit damage buffers with K, right? Because she stacks crit damage, right? So boom. Okay, so boom, she becomes a shotgun character, which, as you guys can kind of see here, it's not really, like, you know, she's not popping off. I don't feel like Summer and Niece ended up hitting harder. This is a joke, with the shotgun meta team, by the way. So it's like, I don't know, I find it to be a joke, genuinely. I don't know why you would want. I know she turns her weapon into a shotgun, but I would never run K on a shotgun meta team. There's just no way I would do that personally. So I don't know why people would want me to do this one. Like, the reload speed is cool and all, but I just would never put K on a shotgun meta team personally. So yeah, for anybody wondering, like, I know, it's just no, I just wouldn't. Honestly, I think K could be good as an off burst 3 character, like, if she sticks to just her regular, because she's, okay, like, that looks good. It looks crazy. The thing about Leona is that Leona makes shotgun characters look like they're hitting a lot harder, but in reality, they're not. Like, more numbers are popping up on the screen, right? Like, the whole point of the pellet increase from Leona is basically to help you with the interruption circles. It's not to do more damage, right? Because if I'm doing 1,000,000 damage, right, let's say, right, and I am only shooting 5 pellets, it's going to be 200k alongside those 5 bullets or pellets. But if I was to increase it by another 5 and I have 10 pellets now, it's still going to do 1,000,000. It's just going to do 100k per pellet. So now it's looking like I've done a lot more damage, but in reality, I'm doing the exact same thing, right? That's just how it is. That pellet increase thing from Leona was just meant for interruption circles. A lot more pellets makes it easier for you to hit them interruption circle parts or whatever. And then when you do that, you do that. But yeah, as you guys see, I'm not even gonna waste you guys' time on that, right? It's just not gonna work for the shotgun team. I'm not gonna do that one. We can use her with. I do want to take a look at Zwei. I know Zwei is a Pierce character, but I remember Zwei has like a crit buff effect, right? A crit rate buff when you enter a full burst. That's what she has, a crit rate buff, and that's all she has. Yeah, no. We can go in here with, you know, Miss Volume. And then I guess for that burst 2, I'll probably use Crown, I guess. I could put in, or even Masked, actually. Is Masked on the 20-second cooldown, this one? Or is she on 40? I forgot. She's on the 22nd. The thing is, she gives crit rate to 2 allies with the highest attack, right? And then obviously she gives a crit damage buff when they're, yeah, so let's use Masked here with this team. And I think I'll probably have to take you off the team regardless, because how much attack do you have? And you, and then if I put Privity's gonna have more than I think my Summer and Niece. Let me just double check that before we continue. Yeah, she's gonna have way more than Summer and Niece, so I'm gonna have to put like another support in there, which I don't really want to, but it is what it is. I think I'll just put Crown in there. I doubt Crown is gonna have that much attack. Yeah, we'll put Crown in there. Crown is still buffing up regardless, so why not? It's not like a proper team. This is what I mean when it comes to K. Like a lot of people in my initial video said, or not a lot, like a few people said, oh no, you're not gonna need to really invest into K. It's like, what team are you putting her on though? Because a lot of the best teams do have ammo capacity. This is a character you don't want to increase ammo with, right? And then when you're running Summer and Niece and her alone, boom. So now if we take a look at K, right, when she's using her whatever, her shotgun or whatever, K has reload speed buff, which is great. The attack damage, or the attack buff and the attack damage buff, all great. An attack buff, all great. Crit damage buff from Masked, crit damage buff again from Masked. Or is that one from, yeah, that's from Masked. And then the crit damage buff, this is coming from Volume. And then the crit rate buff is coming from Volume. And then another crit rate buff, which is coming from Masked, on top of if she is stacking, which in our case right now, she is not stacking. If she was stacking, we would have like, you know, our crit rate from ourselves basically. So yeah, you really just gotta wait until the full burst comes to an end there. But now she still has too much bullets, which is fine or whatever, but it's fine, it's not that big of a deal. But here we go. Well, next, technically she doesn't, right? Some machine guns are supposed to have 120. She's at 73, so it's fine, right? But if you take a look, she's critting like crazy, right? K is critting like crazy on sub because now we're stacked, 60 of those stacks. So all of these crit rate buffs and stuff like that, well, it's kind of gone now because it lasts for like a few seconds, only 7. But if we take a look at K, her damage is still quite low. Like, there's just no excuse for this character. She's not really the best. It is what it is. We're at 20 stacks right now. And it's staying at 20 stacks. I forgot I don't have to always go to the thing. It's right there. We're at 20 stacks right now with the crit rate. I should have went 10 10 10 like the scope lock rather than what I got going on right now. Okay, so we're at 20 stacks. Now we're at 40 stacks, and now we're at 60 stacks. So before we end this, right, I want to see how much crit rate we have. So 60, I don't know what that is. 60 times 58, I'm not sure at the top of my head, but that's a lot of crit rate, right? Forget the attack damage buffs and stuff like that. We're not getting all the crit rate buffs from Masked and Volume. And you know why? Because Volumes lasts like barely any, it lasts 5 seconds. The crit damage buff she gives lasts only 5 seconds. The crit rate buff she lasts only 5 seconds. Even if you were to put this character with Volume, it's just not good enough. Like, genuinely, I just don't think it's good enough. We could do the full 3-minute run this time around, but I just think, like, if I'm going to use K, I think I might as well just abuse the fact that she's a DPS and just put her with buffers. Like, that's where my mindset is at. Just forget the fact, unless you're running her with like Masked and Anchor, the maid Masked and maid Anchor. Other than that, I feel like if I am going to use her, I'm just going to abuse the fact that she's a DPS character to an extent and just put her on the team. Getting full-blown DPS supports, right? Because like at this point, I mean, I'm not going to use this character, genuinely. I'm a bit disappointed just because it's like we waited so long for her to not be the craziest, but at the same time, I didn't expect Kay to ever come into the game and be the #1 best character in the game. Like, you know, I thought it would be cool for like a little meme, especially since I'm sure, you know, Nikke themselves are aware that Kay is like a character we've all been waiting for, so I was kind of hoping they would make that into like some type of meme. But other than that, I mean, I'm not sure. I think if I'm going to do something else before we end this video, I might do an off burst 3. Like, forget using her burst skill, just use her normal attacks completely, right? And then see how that goes, because she does look like she's doing a lot more off her normal attack. Like, let me take a look. So full burst ends. I want to see what our number is at, right? Full burst ends, we're at 191 million, right? 191 million. We go from 191 million to, let's wait, 194 million. So only a 3 million buff, right? And then within this, we're going from 194 million to, what? 214 million. So like a 10 million buff. Or no, not a 10 million buff, like a 20 million attack damage or attack buff, or not buff, but like attack. That's how much we did, 20 million. Here we're at 20 stacks. I think if I had Privity, we could have got more stacks, obviously, but like I said, Privity is a character who has more attacks than Summonings, which was fine because we would still have gotten above 4K specifically, so we could have definitely done that. But I just think I don't like the gimmick. I don't like the whole niche gimmick where I don't really like it. Because how I'm seeing it, if you take a look at her first kit, the crit rate doesn't necessarily matter. Like, if you don't have that crit rate, it is what it is. If you have it, it's great, right? But like, her kit doesn't revolve around her being fully stacked on that. So if you're not fully stacked, it is what it is, right? My whole thing is she will deal additional damage every time she lands 4 critical hits. So that's where that first part of her burst skill, basically, or for burst skill, the first part of her first skill becomes very useful, right? And then when a full burst ends, removes it, and that just resets. On her second skill, she will lower ammo capacity and increase her attack damage by just 8% for 10 seconds, and that's when you gain tilted skill, and this affects all allies. Great. But then when you full burst ends, all of this goes away, and then her burst skill just changes her weapon. So my whole thing is, like, if you're not using her burst skill, are you really making use out of this character? Like, I don't really think so. You know what I mean? I'm not sure, because my thing is, if you're not using her burst skill, then you're using her. The only thing you're getting that's not from her burst skill that's damage besides her normal attack is this additional 18%. Like, I'm not really tripping about that, but it's every 4 crits. For a character who crits a lot, you maybe can make that useful, like 74k or 74 million. It could be good. I think I'm going to try to put a proper team. I think if I'm going to do this, I'm not running volume. I don't think volume is great there. I don't want to say I don't think she's great. I'm just not doing it. I think I'm just going to stick to what they want you to do, right? Put Privity back on here, right? I think Privity is a character I should have, because whether I have it being K who lowers ammo capacity or Privity lower ammo capacity, majority of the time with both of them on the same team, K's ammo capacity will be lowered, right? I think for my burst 2, I'm generally going to have Crown, just general burst 1 buffer, and then I might just have Exia. I think I might just do that, because I do have her full favorite item, which is going to be helpful, right? I think this is what I will run here. I don't even need Summer Niece. Like, Summer Niece is increasing our reload speed and giving us an attack buff. I don't necessarily need that. Like, I could do this and have this, right? Because this way I'm getting crit rate for my normal attacks, which is good. And then I am getting an attack damage when we enter a full burst. So I think I'm going to do that, because we're already getting reload speed from Privity and we're getting insane reload speed from Crown. So I don't need to have a Niece on top of that. You know what I mean? So I think I'm going to do this right here. I'm not going to go into scope lock because I want my favorite items, and we're going to see what this is looking like generally. We're going to take a look and see what this is looking like. If it's good, then it's good. If it's not, then it's not. But I don't necessarily need Summer Niece on the team. She's great because she's an electric character, but I don't necessarily need her on the team. You know what I mean? So our burst generation is going to increase very, very fast, right? But sure. So here we go. We're at 2.5 million. You see, we're not getting many crits here, but when we do get those 4 crits, then we do that additional damage, right? So boom, you see those crits? There's a lot of those crits happening there, right? There's a lot of those crits happening right there. Boom, no CDR, so we have enough time to kind of stack. We're at 20 stacks right now. We're at 40 stacks right now. The more crits we get, the more damage she will do, essentially, right? That's how I want to put it. And like, what is she at now? This is kind of embarrassing. The fact that Exia, K, Crown, and Helm are all kind of like this. I'm done with the showcase, bro. I think I'm done with the showcase. The fact that Exia, Crown, and Helm are all on par with K is quite embarrassing. And I know Exia is a very powerful burst 1 if you have her favorite. Like, if you guys did not know that, Exia becomes quite the DPS as a burst 1 if you have her favorite item. I just never do showcases with Exia or anything, but she does become quite powerful, as you guys can see there, right? But now K is popping off when you use her burst skill, because again, the more crit rate she has, the more additional damage she's doing. Where you guys can see this kind of like 60k, you know, 30k. It depends if we're in a full burst or not, but it's kind of crazy, right? Basically, you just want crits. You get your crits, you get more damage, you're doing your best, right? It's not bad. It's not as bad as we make it out to be. But what's her damage look like? Okay, so she's the highest now. But again, Exia is so close to her. And my Exia has no gear on right now. All Exia is 555 with her favorite item. Other than that, she has no gear on, nothing. So it is quite embarrassing when I see Exia is on par with K just because of her favorite item. Here we go. That's a lot of crits. That's a lot of crits. That's a lot of crits. From being that far away, that's a lot of crits. No, I think every time I look at it and I see Exia that close, it's just making me more sad. Okay, I'm done with this showcase. I'm not doing it, y'all. It is what it is. Like, K doesn't have to be the best character in the game. She doesn't even need to be good. I'm sorry. We have way too many burst 3 DPSs. K does not need to be good. She doesn't need to be none of that. Genuinely, right? Look at this. We have too many broken burst 3 DPSs. K not being the best is okay, y'all. Just do not complain. I don't think K is that crazy, but if you think she's good, then let me know. But yeah, I don't think so. I don't think she's too niche. She's too niche. You put her with volume. Volume only has a 5-second buff. It's not enough, right? If you enter a full burst and it ends, she has to restart, and she doesn't make enough time to like fully stack. Like, she doesn't make enough time to fully stack up for as long as she needs to. It's actually, like, the time she gets to 100 stacks, if you do have her 10-10-10, it's like at the end of a full burst, basically. So it's pointless at the same time, in my personal opinion. But you guys let me know what you think. I'm out. Peace.